So this is what we are celebrating this year, the beer purity law, now more than 500 years old. So you can say the eldest food law or food act of the world. And who invented it? Who? Huh? Yes, we Bavarians. The Bavarians, the people from Bavaria, the strange guys yodeling, beer drinking and wearing short leather trousers all year round. The beer purity law was written down 1516 to bring the different regulations in one line. The original law was from Munich and for Munich, invented 153 years before. But what is the content of the beer purity law? It says, in all places, whole over Bavaria, where there are beer brewers, they are only allowed to use barley, hop and water, nothing else, and I stress, nothing else. Think about it. Something missing? If you try to brew a beer just with these ingredients of the beer purity law, you will get a non-drinkable broth, my dear. And you know why? Because there's something missing, and that's yeast. Aha, so why isn't the yeast in the beer purity law? Maybe it wasn't known at that time. Think about it. Beer was brewed by putting it in open bowls for weeks. You can imagine all the things full in. And maybe sometimes a bit of yeast. But maybe they knew it a bit. They knew that there must be something in the slag at the bottom of the pool. Therefore, they didn't clean it totally and used it several times. But why did they need a beer purity law? Because one of the chair fathers at the authorities was bored, had nothing to do, and said to himself, I could annoy the beer brewers. No, folks. Any ideas? Okay, one of the reasons was to keep away hunger from the Bavarian people. At that time, crop failures were normal business, and therefore the people need wheat for making bread. And you may know how delicious a wheat beer can taste. So they had to forbid brewing beer from wheat. Therefore, barley was the base for beer. And on the other hand, it was necessary to protect the Bavarian people that they don't get ill. Beer wasn't so well tasting as it is nowadays. Beer in Bavaria at that time tasted detestable, loathsome, horrible. Munich had around 20,000 inhabitants and more than 80 breweries. So on average 250 customers for every brewery. That's not very much. And what can you do if you want to get more customers? Especially if your beer was a bit too long in the pool down in your cellar and was getting more and more sour. You put something in your beer. And that was well known for centuries, to put something in. Beer was used for breakfast. They put in eggs, a bit nutmeg, a bit ginger. So you see, Jamie Oliver was on his way, but you didn't have to pay a lot of money for his spice blends. Jamie Oliver. Raquel's Ragoose Crooks were also in the brewing business. And so they put in what they could get to make their beer tasty or at least edible. And they put in laurel, juniper, wormwood, the best against tasting sour. And they put in fern and pine needles against the smell. Some beers had an odor you can compare with your shampoos at home. Some worked with opium and brandy. You can imagine how you felt after some glasses. Some used ash, tar, or the bile acid from oxes. Tasting bitter, and you don't need to buy the expensive hop. But the hardest rooks used magic mushrooms, toadstool, or belladonna. Oh, brother. Drinking that beer and every toothless fat landlady changed into a Marilyn. Every drug you could get was put into the beer, and the people got stupid. Okay, the Bavarian authorities didn't care about stupid people. And the people got blind. Oh, they don't care. And unable to work. Oh, stop! Unable to work? No, that's nothing we could allow. So why didn't they have that beer purity law in other parts of Germany? Easy. In the Rhine Valley and parts of northern Germany, the beer was really good tasting because they put Grut into the beer. Grut, a kind of herb or weed, was toxical too, but lightly waspy and at least had essential oils. So it smells perfectly and tasted, well, so why didn't the Bavarian use that Grut weed? That's capitalism. Pure Bavarian economic policy. Grut wheat couldn't be cultivated in Bavaria, so that Bavarian beer brewers didn't use it, and to export it, oh no, too expensive. And Bavarians, okay, they love their home country, but if others brew a good tasting beer and your beer from your home country isn't tasting as well, the Bavarians will drink the beer from the others. Yes, therefore, the Bavarian brewers need protection. Robbie Williams and his angel weren't there, so they got the Bavarian beer purity law. Invented in Munich, written down 1516 by George the Rich, and believe it or not, 1919 the beer purity law was the most important condition for the Bavarians to decide whether they should accompany other countries and found the Republic of Germany or not. So, since 1919, it is the German purity beer law, and the North German brewers aren't allowed to use Grut wheat anymore. Maybe it took long, but finally, okay, 400 years are a long period, finally the Bavarian government was able to protect the Bavarian brewers.